All right, we're back to masks. You know what that means? No, not COVID, body work. So it's starting on the body work, and let me show you what's going on. All right, so I already stripped this side of the hood. This is where I'm at on the hood. So this is a hood that came off another car, I suspect. It's either that or the original hood. But I know there's been some damage here in the front. I know this fender has been either replaced or damaged, and whoever did the paint job on it did a lousy job. But anyway, there's Bondo work here, little Bondo filler here that is kind of peeling up. I'll have to get rid of that. I went through and stripped a lot of this down. I think this brown or this black is the primer. So what I'm doing now is just stripping the rest, and there'll be parts that have to get filled in. Here's a dent here, and here's some other imperfections, but we'll take care of those. I have all the letters, the Dodge letters off the front. So here, watch while I do this. I'll speed it up. Hope you can hear me. We are going to work on some body work today. Me and my old buddy Wilson. Where is he? There he is. So I don't know. Check out this informational video. Blah, blah, blah. Body work. All right. So what we got here is the rear quarter panel from a donor car, which I purchased. Outer skin, and then if you look back here, it also includes the trunk extension. And what I'm in the process of doing now, which is kind of a pain in the neck, but a necessary evil, is I want to, it needs to get put on the car. I want the inner trunk extension separated from the outer skin. That way I can do one at a time. And the way we are trying to do this is to drill out the spot welds, which are sort of evenly placed. And what I did start out doing is sort of just drilling holes through both, but that is kind of a rudimentary way of doing this, and it didn't really work that well, to be honest. Then I did a little investigation and found that the best way to do this is to sort of from the inside just drill out the spot weld from the inside without doing too much damage to the outer panel. What it sort of does is just leave little dimples. This isn't really a big deal to me. What will most likely happen is these will get just filled in. They can be used to re-spot weld the car once these panels are back together again. So they'll just be filled in, plug welds. So even though it did blow through these, it's not that much of a big deal. At least to me it isn't. So I have my work cut out for me. I'm going to be doing all these bottom ones at the bottom pinch weld. And then I have ones along here where the wheel well is, and back here where the back of the car is. Then that should separate that. So that's it. You want to see how this is done? Is it exciting for you? So the basic gist of this is to find where the welds are on the other side. And this is a little difficult sometimes because of rust and things like that. But as I've mentioned before, there's a couple of clues. These are kind of evenly spaced, I guess, because of the spot welder that they used. So you can kind of measure out. But then once you take a little piece of sandpaper and sand over here, you can get some of the surface rust off, and you can see, like, right here is a spot weld, right there's a spot weld, right there's a spot weld, there's one up here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a drill bit, and this is an old drill bit, and doing a punch. Did that hurt? Hey Wilson, how are you doing, buddy? And then taking a drill, and which is a bigger diameter drill, just enough to drill out that plug. And I'm sort of getting the idea how far I have to go to break the weld. It's not very far. You kind of hear how it's flapping around. Yeah, I actually just kind of broke through a little bit, so I should have stopped, but that's the gist of it. And then the rest of the procedure, I'll lift you up here, is to just take a screwdriver and kind of go, where am I? And kind of go between the seams here, as I did here, and once you get the screwdriver in between, it's kind of easy to pry up. And if it isn't, we also have our friendly friend, the hammer, which will drive the screwdriver in. Okay, that's it. Say goodbye, Wilson. Wilson! Okay, that was not easy, but I did finally get them separated to a point. I know, messy, huh? But it all be fixed, and here's the other one. So, somewhat separated, not separated at the bottom yet, because I probably just need to cut these off anyway, so I'm not going to waste my time breaking all the welds. But holy God, these things are a pain in the ass to take apart. Now I got a bunch of holes to fill, which I would have had to anyway, because it would have had to be plug weld or something. Maybe not as many holes, but oh well, it'll work. What are we working on today? Body work. So I took the bumper off the car. Let me tell you, that was a real pain in the neck. It took me like an hour just to get these bolts off. They're so rusty. And a lot of torque, this old body. But finally got the bumper off. It's sitting over there. Where are you, bumper? Rusty in there, huh? What do you expect? Anyway, let me turn this camera around. We'll do some more looking. I don't want to have to put this whole panel in one piece. I'm just going to cut in a patch here because the metal is in pretty decent shape. If not, I have plenty of material on my scavenged quarter panel. So I'll put this down and you can see a little bit of what the hell I'm doing and what I'm ruining. Alright, so got this part cut out. The inner fender wall, the trunk drop off. Alright gang, back at the car. Let me show you where we're at now. A couple things first. Got an air compressor ready. So I've got some new tools. Got a air hammer and chisel and a air grinder. This is a smaller size grinder. Helped me get into some spots that are a little too tight. I got my Yes welder. Been practicing with this Flux 135. I'm going to be doing a separate video on this, and of course a Yes welding helmet. I need the air hammer
air chisel, because I got to break some of these pinch welds, and it's easy to drill them out, but sometimes it's a little difficult to get in between and to break the final part of the weld in here. So I'm going to use the air chisel on that. We got a lot of cleanup to do here behind where the bumper was. So let's take a look at what we got here. So here's the trunk drop off. I cut out the bad spots. Still not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to just cut this all the way back. Just lay this on top as a sort of a lap, which is probably how I'm going to do it. There's another part that goes in here. Where is that? Is that it? Yeah, this actually goes in first, but that will be connected into there. Weld it from the inside, and then weld it to this piece. And then, of course, we have the skin that is going to go on here and wraps around here. Take care of this issue of the rot that was right here. You also notice that I do have an issue here of the inside panel. It's rotted and bent. I don't know how that got that way. But anyway, I do have a separate piece for that, which is right here. That will be thrown in there and take care of that issue. So a lot of work ahead of me, but I am kind of nervous about the whole thing, to be honest. It's something I've never done before, but I guess you never truly know what you can do until you actually try. I sound like Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. So I've got a lot of prep work ahead of me. I'm going to take care of some of this rust, and before I start fabricating or welding, whatever. So wish me luck, and hopefully this will motivate you to do your own project. Well, we'll see what happens at the end, and then maybe the motivation will be like, boy, I'm glad I'm not like that idiot. Also, I want to give a shout out to Lakeside Auto Body, who has a ton of great videos, and I'm going to link that in the description because his videos have been extremely helpful for me to, even just to get motivated to do this myself. But the main reason I'm doing it myself is cold hard cash. Don't have any for the car, but I don't want to spend really any more than the car's worth either. That's kind of stupid. So we'll catch up along the way. Thanks. Catch up. So let me give you an idea of what I'm going to do here. So this is the piece that is cut off of this. Originally that went like that. They separated the two, they were pinched all together. So what I'm going to do is going to go in from the back here, and then as you can see, I've written keep on this because I need to keep that part. But basically I'll trim this back, and then it'll wind up getting welded from inside the wheel well after I take the tire off. And this is all cleaned up, and then you have to envision that goes there, and then this other panel, well, because I knew that was going to happen. This other panel will go there, this will flip down. That'll create the inside trunk drop-off. Alright, so I'm getting ready for my first welds. This is what this looks like inside. You see? Now I'm gonna tack weld here. See what this looks like. Alright, is it perfect? No, but it's an inner panel and giving me a lot of practice. And don't seem like it's going anywhere. I have to tack it down here a little bit. I think it looks pretty good. Signing off. So everything in bodywork is like playing pool. You got to anticipate what you're going to pop into in the future. So rookie mistake. I went in and tacked this panel in. You did a pretty good job with the welds, nice and sturdy. Then I failed to realize that I did also want to tack weld this under here. And of course I didn't prep this properly, so now I'm like having to do this in awkward position, try to get all this hard sealer off, and slowing up the process. So what I should have done is cleaned all this off prior to me tack welding it, and it's gonna just have to be a pain in the neck, but that's another thing that you might run into when you're doing something like this for the first time. So to learn from my mistakes. Yeah, I know, it's ugly. It looks like Swiss cheese, but I'll get them filled in somehow. Okay, I'm ready to do a test fit on the panel. This is not 100% done, and that's why this is a test fit. But I'm going to get everything sealed here, inside, spray paint all this. But I had to make a couple of patches here. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's pretty sturdy. The welding turned out okay. Got a couple spots right here that I have to re-weld. But this is what it looks like inside. A lot better than it did. Not perfect, but I'm not going for show car. I'm just going for rust removal. So, what I'm going to do here is kind of cut down about 1 inch on the body line, that it give me enough room to feather it in so it looks nice and smooth, I hope. And that's where we're at now. So I'm going to have that all marked out. I'm going to cut it out and hope I don't fuck up. So cleaned up for the end of the day here. Put in a full good 8 hours and cooked a barbecue dinner for everybody. Renaissance man. So this is a test fit. This I decided to do a butt weld on, to be a little easier to get the filler in on this spot. This part I'm going to do a lap weld, but you probably can't see in here, but I took my flanging tool that I have from Harbor Freight and flanged all that down. So basically what you have is a sort of like that. Like if this was my finger, top from my fingers or the body line, and then you got a little concave. And then I'm going to cut this back so that this panel fits into that a little bit easier. So it won't be perfect. It's still a lap joint, but it'll be easier to fill in with the filler and look a lot smoother. This over here, I'm just going to weld and tap down and probably put a little fill in here, but again, the bumper covers most of this, so not really worried about that. This turned out pretty good. I did need to take off this piece to get the inner fender, or the inner quarter panel and the outer quarter panel separated. So again, the bumper is going to cover this, so I will just put a strip over here and marry that all together. So again, same thing, just tack weld, and bumper will hide all that, so we don't have to worry about that. But I'm actually pretty happy with this. I learned some things that I can use on the other side to make the next one go better. But I think this looks pretty good. What do you guys think? I'm sure I saved myself thousands of dollars doing this. Let's see the inside. And don't know if you can see, but of course this isn't done all the way, but there's the inner panel. It still needs to be tacked weld at the bottom and deal with all those cheese holes, but I have an idea for that too, so we'll be all right. And here's the inside. Okay, we'll get this all sealed up with some roofing tar or whatever, and call it a day. All right, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time, next week.